Hey there, YouTube. I don't usually do this, but I recently got a hold of the Hinomi X1 chair right here. And I just gotta say, I absolutely cannot recommend this chair to anyone who may be, I'd say, anywhere around 200 pounds and 6 foot tall. That's roughly what I am, and this chair is honestly, hands down the worst chair I've ever sat in, especially seeing that this chair is $1,000. I'm honestly blown away by many of the oversights in this chair. Sadly, Hinomi does offer a 30-day window where you can send the chair back. Sadly, my dog tore up the box, and they do require you to have the original box in order to send the chair back. So sadly, I'm not allowed to do that because I don't have the original box. So instead, I'll be able to make this review so people don't waste their time and money. Starting off the back, it looks fairly comfortable. You have your lumbar support and your back support. Overall, I mean, if you're a smaller built person, I'm sure this is fine. But an issue I personally find is that you can see the way you adjust both the lumbar and the top is by moving it up. It has a ratcheting system behind it that moves up, as well as the back moves up as well through just lifting up. Now, I don't know if any of you can kind of piece together what might be the issue here, simply being that your rear is going to sit in this area. Anytime you move forwards, every time you move forwards, you're gonna lift that up. Anytime you bend over, you're gonna lift that up. And it also ends up lifting up the entire chair. So oftentimes, anytime I kind of lean forward for anything and then I lean back, it'll lift this entire chair all the way up, because I usually have it in the topmost position for my height, and it will lift it up and it will end up going all the way back down just like that. And it's very, very annoying as it is. It's sadly, there isn't like a lock position. Like, you can't just set it in here and just like lock it, which really is a mistake that on their part, to not have like a screw or something back here to just pin it in position. That's something I honestly can't even believe that they didn't even think of for something that's $1,000 chair. Don't get me wrong, the materials, it has this beautiful metal kind of body to it, and it feels very premium, but it is hands down just the worst design chair I can even think of I've ever sat in. And these armrests are just the worst. There's nothing about them that's good. They are just bad. So as far as they go, they do not lock in place going around this way. So you can see, I mean, my pinky finger can essentially move it without a whole lot of issue. And the issue ends up being is, say you have your armrest inwards, as I'll like to sit, and I'll often have my arm kind of sat along here, and it kind of just, especially if you have the chair leaned back, which there's only one option to lean back. You have no control over the bottom of the chair. The only option you have is to lean back the top of the chair just slightly. Here, I'll try and lean it back real quick. Oop. Scooch back into position. Oh, that was already in the furthest lean back position. So now it's actually straight up, and this is as far back as it goes, basically, which really isn't all that far back for any kind of chair if you want to lean back or anything. Which, I mean, you don't want to, it's an ergonomic chair. You're probably not leaning too far back, but you really lose any form of adjustment that many other chairs actually have. So I went from just a gaming chair that I got at Micro Center, and I mean, this is just horrible. That gaming chair, just to be able to spin these, it would lock in place. This thing just popped off because I actually had to, another reason why I'm making this video. So under here, you can't really see all that well, but I had to remove the portion of the armrest that locks it in place. So you can see it wiggles like that. With it in place, it still wiggles just like that, which is incredibly annoying. And that is because one of the aggravating things about it is that this little piece of metal, this is all it is, sits under there and it slides back and forth, and it actually sits like this basically in there, and it slides back and forth to lock this in place. Now, I don't know if you can see the issue, but this little piece of metal right there, I mean, pinky for scale, is all that basically keeps the armrest from doing this. So, I mean, I'm sure anybody can sit here and think about how many times they have used their elbows on the armrest to adjust themselves on the chair. And that's literally what I just did before making this video, is I bent this piece of metal down and it just went and it was incredibly angering because now I had to go and bend it back, which is not an issue I had on a $400 gaming chair that I now have to deal with a $1,000 ergonomic chair that sadly I can't return for stupid reasons. I get one positive thing I can say about the chair is this footrest is phenomenal. It is made of very nice materials. Overall, I mean, like, the chair really is made of very nice materials. That's probably one of the best things about the chairs. It's a very nice feeling. Like the rubber on here feels nice. Even the mesh, it's not comfortable whatsoever, but it doesn't feel bad on the hands. Everything just feels very nice and good. And the footrest is relatively sturdy as far as I can tell. It does have this very nice thick bar that comes out from the base of the seat, so it does feel like it can hold my legs, which are relatively beefy as I tend to work out fairly frequently. So this is a very big upside to the chair itself, but that's really the only upside, honestly. Some of the other adjustments on this chair that I may have forgotten to mention are you are able to lift it up. The shock in this one, I got the large chair, is very nice. It doesn't sag even in the slightest. And you also have the ability to, here, I'll be able to hold it in place. I think it's spring loaded. So let me, you can kind of see slightly. The seat and arms move with the bottom of the chair, and you're able to move that frontwards and forwards. My legs are kind of long, so I have it for all the way forwards. But an issue with that is that the arms don't actually move all that far back. So when you're sitting in the chair and then you lean back, your arms actually, you don't have any arm support, which is very annoying. And from online, I guess that's not an issue with the chair below this, because the arms are actually attached to the back with the chair below this. Overall, I'm just making this video because I'm very upset about how poorly these are. The fact that you can't lock in the position on these is honestly absurd, and how much the entire thing, I'll try and wiggle it without wiggling the chair, how much this entire thing kind of just wiggles is very vexing. It's absurd for a $1,000 chair.